Hey, you possum peeps! Today is Friday, September 15th, 2023, and you're watching the Weekly Paw. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the editor-in-chief and co-publisher of Pet Lifestyles magazine. Yes, we are back, but sadly, the renovations, as you can tell, were put on hold last week due to a myriad of issues. Yes, everything's absolutely fine. It's just we have a lot of development in the works on the relaunch of Pet Lifestyles magazine for the November issue, as well as I've been working on some things for our sister publication, New York Lifestyles magazine. Then on the personal side, and I have to give a shout out to my wife, Kylie. I love you. Congratulations on becoming a U.S. citizen. So we're all excited over here. Lots going on. Incredibly busy time of year. Let's get on to this week's stories. The fall is the most amazing time of year. Between the apple picking, fall harvest for Halloween and Thanksgiving, as well as the changes in the weather, it's that time when it gets a little cooler and the leaves start to change colors. Now, especially in the Northeast, it is absolutely stunning. In other words, it's the perfect time of year for those long walks with your dog or cuddles with your cat, especially at night when the temperatures start to go down. It's also that time when endless piles of leaves start to form all over the place, and your dog just can't help himself but dive right in. Yes, it's adorable, until you run into potential pet allergies, which become prominent and problematic during the fall season. Now, this is especially for a new pet parent with a puppy. Not knowing why your dog is chewing its paw or gnawing at its tail, and the like can be incredibly frustrating. Now, dogs with allergies are often a moving target because it's very challenging to determine exactly what they're allergic to. Now, I've been down this road many times in my life, and while this story is not about a product per se, I do have a product recommendation, and that's purely from a personal point of view, having had dogs that have had severe allergies. So think about this, folks. The spring and the fall, you have heightened levels of allergens like pollen, ragweed, grass, those kinds of things. When your dog is being taken out for a walk or being let out in the backyard, that pollen, that ragweed, all of those allergens end up on the ground and your dog walks through them. It gets stuck in the crevices of their paw. So they then end up licking it to try and clean it. Well, the problem with that is that you end up having bacteria in there. So we'll get into that in 1 second. In the old days, you had to rely on things like Benadryl or some obnoxiously large pills that no dog or cat should ever be ingesting. Now, I'm talking about those horse-sized pills that no pet parent in the history of the world has ever come away unscathed from attempting to medicate their pet with. Now, about a decade ago, Kylie and I hit the breaking point on this in terms of our first dog together, Snickers. She was so busy eating her paw and then getting bacterial infection after infection. So as I was saying, when they're licking out the allergen, their saliva and the bacteria from their mouths ends up staying in the paw. And because the paw, the crevices are so tight, that allows bacteria to form and create a bacterial infection. So our vet at the time, and we had been going almost every month because of this issue with Snickers, our vet had come to us and said, listen, there's a new drug on the market, and the trials, the clinicals, have been incredible. The downside is very low risk. Okay, well, that drug was called CYTOPOINT. Now, without getting too technical, CYTOPOINT is used to treat dermatitis in dogs, and it's administered by injection every 4 to 8 weeks. I can tell you, it literally changed Snickers' life, and many others for whom I've recommended this product. Now, while I'm not a veterinarian, I have certainly been around enough dogs in my life with allergies to know this is a miracle drug. You know, with Snickers, every day, licking and, gnawing and all of that stuff, and within hours of being injected with CYTOPOINT, She started to exhibit, much more passive behavior. She didn't have, she wasn't gnawing at her paw. Within a day, she was right back to her old self. So I'm not saying those are the results that you'll run into. Remember, every dog and cat's DNA is different from each other, just like human beings. Drugs for human beings, for canines, for felines, works differently animal to animal or human to human because we're all made up differently, right? So the same is true in the case of CYTOPOINT. If you're experiencing this problem, make an appointment with your vet, have the conversation, ask them about various medications that your dog can take, whether that's OTC, over the counter, or something that needs to be prescribed. In this case, CYTOPOINT needs to be prescribed and administered by a vet. So have that conversation and provide your forever one with a little relief. Now, speaking of veterinarians, I have a very special announcement to make. Dr. Stephanie Liff of Pure Paws Veterinary Care has joined the Pet Lifestyles magazine pack. Dr. Liff and her team at Pure Paws are now our official veterinary partner. Dr. Liff will be writing a column for every issue to give pet parents a leg up on the problems she sees in the community from a veterinarian's point of view, as well as to help pet parents tackle tips and tricks around their health and wellness. Now, it's ironic that we're announcing this today, given the last story. So, as you can tell from the smirk on my face, I have a little secret. Stephanie is an old friend, and she was also both Snickers and Rolo's vet. Now, do you remember the episode of the Weekly Paw a few weeks ago where it was dedicated to humane euthanization using Snickers as the example? Well, Dr. Liff was the vet who gave Snickers her steroid protocols instead of chemotherapy and came to our home so lovingly to help us send Snickers over the Rainbow Bridge. Dr. Liff is also the one who introduced us to CYTOPOINT. She is one of the very few experts that I trust implicitly. And that's the bottom line here, folks. When I took the mantle of this publication, I knew I had to bring in only the best experts to help our readers and viewers in their forever journey. Experts like Kate Perry of Kate Perry Dog Training and Alyssa Panitz, the divorce journalist. And we've got a ton of others we're going to be announcing over the next couple of months. Now, Dr. Liff is certainly no exception to that group. She's extremely well respected in the New York tri-state veterinarian community. She sits on the board of Muddy Paws Rescue, which I've worked with since their founding, and regularly appears at community events to help pet parents with their fur babies. Welcome to the pack, Dr. Liff, and thank you for being so absolutely pawesome. At the end of this month is the annual mega trade show, ToyFair. Now, I'm going to talk a little more about this on next week's episode, but I am just completely gobsmacked by how incredibly pawesome their media relations director, Rachel Cooper, has been to work with. Now, Rachel reached out to me because I know all of you are like, what the hell does ToyFair have to do with dogs, cats, and pets? So Rachel reached out to me because ToyFair is going to, for the first time, have a dedicated pet toy section this year. Now, some of the pet toy exhibitors showing include Big Mouth, Wow Sports, Jazzwares, and Learning Resources. Now, I'm going to be attending at the end of this month, so look forward to seeing me talk about a lot of toys for Paula Day this year. Now, I remember many moons ago, I was a producer at CNN covering ToyFair for Moneyline with Lou Dobbs. Now, back then, ToyFair was not as large as it is today. It is massive, but it sure as hell was a lot of fun. And I can't wait to bring everything full circle with these folks at the end of the month. Pause up to Rachel. Thank you for everything. Now, I want to do a quick follow-up to the story we did last month on Jolly Pets and their new toys and treats. As promised, I had Bree play with the Jolly Tough Flyer to see just how tough it is. She had a blast. She loved playing with the Tough Flyer. It was everything it promised it was going to be. And judging by, as you can see in the photos, her protection of the tough flyer and those kinds of things, she absolutely loves this new toy. Now, the good folks at Jolly Pets also sent their fill-in treat. In this case, they describe it as drool-worthy peanutty stuffer with pumpkin. Now, this is a 1-ounce packet. Comes in a whole box full of packets. And then they have a 5-ounce tube with an appropriate applicator to put inside stuffed toys, treat toys, interactive toys, where it's a nozzle you stick in and you squeeze and it fills the entire crevice with whatever is in the tube. So in this case, it's the peanutty stuffer with pumpkin. Brie absolutely went nuts over it. And as you can see in the video, she's shoving her tongue. The way she's shoving her tongue most certainly means she's absolutely loving it. So definitely worth trying at your local pet store, or head to the URL on your screen to learn more. The folks at Jolly Pets have a lot of great products. I can't wait to see the next round of flavors that they come up with for this, because I'd love to see how Brie reacts to it. She absolutely loves this stuff. So thank you very much, Jolly Pets, and congratulations on the new line. Lighten things up a little bit this week. Here's this week's Weekly Tail Waggle. As you guys know, every week I set aside a few funny memes for everybody to get a little laugh to start their weekend off. One housekeeping note, folks. As Rosh Hashanah is here, from all of us at Pet Lifestyles Magazine and New York Lifestyles Magazine, Lashana Tova to all our Jewish readers and viewers. May this year be the sweetest yet. Stay pawesome, peeps. We'll see you next week.